The unknown arrival. The galaxy was old. Stars had lived and died. Civilizations had risen and fallen. Great alien empires ruled the known space, each proud of their power, each certain they could never be challenged. To them, humanity was nothing special. Humans were seen as a young race, still learning, still crawling among the stars. The older species laughed when Earth was mentioned. They are small, they are weak, they are nothing. That was the belief shared across the galaxy. But all of that changed when the unknown arrival came. It began with a signal. No one knew where it came from. At first, it was only static, then a strange pulse of sound, like the beating of a giant heart. Explorers tried to trace it, but the source kept moving. Soon the signal grew louder, spreading across the galaxy, echoing in every communication channel. The great empires grew uneasy. Something was coming, something vast, something ancient. Then the attacks began. At the edge of the Orion Arm, a peaceful trading station vanished without warning. A week later, an entire colony world went dark. Ships sent to investigate never returned. Survivors told strange stories. Dark shapes in space, machines or creatures unlike anything seen before. They moved like shadows, silent and merciless, tearing apart fleets with ease. The galaxy began to whisper a name. The enemy. The empires responded the way they always did, with power. The reptilian Zorth assembled their war fleets. The proud Avira, with their glowing wings, declared that no threat could ever stand against them. The insectoid Harl swore to crush the invaders. Massive fleets gathered, filling the skies of countless worlds. Weapons glowed, banners waved, and speeches were made. All the galaxy expected a great war. And yet, humanity did nothing. Earth stayed, silent. Their colonies sent no fleets. Their diplomats offered no promises. The humans only listened. Their ships moved quietly between their own worlds, but they never joined the great alliances. To the empires, this was proof that humans were cowards. See? The Zorth laughed. The humans hide. They are too afraid to face the enemy. The galaxy mocked them, certain that Earth would stay out of the fight. But whispers told a different story. Some traders swore they had seen strange movements near human space, convoys of ships disappearing into hidden routes, massive shadows lurking near asteroids too large to be mining stations. A Harl scout claimed he saw a dark fleet resting near Saturn's rings, but when he returned with others, it was gone. The reports were dismissed as lies, as tricks, but still the rumors spread. What were the humans hiding? The enemy kept advancing. The first clash came in the Vega system. 3 mighty alien fleets faced the invaders. The battle lasted only 2 hours. The aliens were destroyed. Whole armadas, ships older than human history, wiped away as if they were toys. The survivors fled, terrified. The galaxy trembled. For the first time in thousands of years, the empires felt fear. But still, Earth was silent. In the Great Council of Species, the Avira demanded answers. Why do the humans not fight? Do they plan to wait until we are weak and then strike at us too? The Harl hissed in anger, demanding that humans be forced into battle. Others argued that humanity was simply too weak to matter. Yet none could deny the unease they felt. Humans were quiet, too quiet. A message was sent to Earth. The galaxy demanded an answer, but the reply was simple, almost empty. We are preparing. No one understood what that meant. Preparing what? They had seen no fleets, no great weapons, no vast military. To the empires, the words sounded hollow, the words of a race too proud to admit their weakness. But to those who listened carefully, the words carried weight, a warning. Meanwhile, in the far reaches of space, a lone freighter picked up something strange. It was a human signal, encoded and hidden, bouncing across empty stars. When the captain tried to follow it, she found herself staring at a shadow in the void. It was a ship, human in design but massive, larger than any she had ever seen. Its surface shimmered with strange patterns, like a predator waiting in silence. And then, as quickly as it appeared, it was gone. The captain never spoke of it again. The galaxy waited. The enemy grew stronger, moving closer to the core. Alien fleets fell one by one. Panic spread. Worlds burned. All eyes turned to Earth, the HFY, quiet watching humans. No one could understand their silence. Were they afraid? Were they waiting? Or were they planning something far greater than anyone could imagine? In the endless dark of space, the question hung heavy. The galaxy mocked them. The galaxy doubted them. But deep inside, in the hearts of every alien ruler, a quiet fear began to grow. What if the humans were not weak? What if they had been hiding their true power all along? And so the stage was set. The unknown arrival had shaken the galaxy. The enemy was stronger than anyone had believed. The alien empires stood trembling, their pride shattered. And far away, on a small blue planet, humanity remained silent, watching, waiting, preparing. The galaxy thought humans were weak. Soon they would learn the truth. The gathering shadows, the enemy did not stop. After the destruction of Vega, the galaxy realized this was no ordinary war. The enemy moved like a storm, silent, fast, and merciless. They did not speak. They did not demand. They only consumed. Whole fleets burned, whole colonies vanished, and yet no one understood what these creatures or machines truly were. Some said they were ancient machines from before recorded time. Others believed they were living shadows, born from the darkness between stars. Whatever the truth, the galaxy feared them. The empires gathered their strength. The Zorth brought fleets from across their worlds, their giant warships bristling with plasma cannons. The Avira, glowing with pride, formed golden armadas said to be blessed by their ancestors. The insectoid Harl called every hive to war, filling the skies with endless swarms of spiked ships. It was a sight the galaxy had not seen in ages. Banners of 100 empires waving in the void. Thousands of ships standing side by side, prepared to defend everything they had built over millennia. The skies glowed with their unity. To the common citizens, it felt like hope. Surely, with such power gathered, the enemy would fall, and still the humans remained silent. In the council chambers, debates grew louder. The Avira spread their wings in anger. The humans insult us all. They do nothing while our fleets bleed. Are they waiting for us to fall so they can rise? The Zorth hissed in agreement, their scaled fists slamming against the tables. Cowards. Parasites. They let others fight while they hide in the safety of their little blue world. But some voices disagreed. A quiet few warned that perhaps humanity was not hiding in fear, but waiting for the right time. These whispers were ignored, drowned out by the roar of arrogant empires. No one wanted to admit it, but in the back of every mind, the thought was there. What if the humans were different? Rumors continued to spread. A merchant ship claimed to have seen human convoys moving through empty space, protected by strange escorts that vanished from scanners. A scout reported an entire asteroid belt gone, mined clean in a single night by unknown machines. Others spoke of silent stations appearing, near-dead stars glowing faintly for only hours before disappearing again. None of it could be proven. Every report ended the same way. Silence. The humans never confirmed. The humans never denied. The galaxy began to grow uneasy. The great empires were preparing for a war unlike any before, but the humans were preparing for something else, something no one could understand. Then came the second battle. This time, 5 fleets joined together, a massive armada of thousands of ships. The Zorth led the charge, roaring as their cannons lit the skies. The Avira flew in perfect formation, golden wings shining as beams of light cut through the void. The Harl swarmed, endless numbers filling every angle of attack. For a moment, it seemed they might succeed, but the enemy adapted. The shadows changed their shapes. Their weapons shifted, bending reality itself. 1,000 alien ships were crushed in moments. Hundreds more vanished in flashes of unnatural light. It was not war. It was slaughter. The survivors fled again. The galaxy trembled again, and Earth stayed silent. By now, the fear was stronger than ever. If the greatest fleets could not win, what chance did anyone have? Colonies began to surrender before the enemy even arrived. Civilizations locked themselves in their home systems, too afraid to send ships beyond their own suns. The galaxy was falling into despair, and still, the humans watched. In the dark, the gathering shadows grew. Human space was quiet, but deep, within, something was moving. Satellite images taken by spies showed strange flashes near Jupiter's moons. Entire regions of space near Neptune were blocked from scans as if by a wall. A single explorer swore she had seen a fleet larger than any ever built, hidden in Saturn's rings. But when she returned with proof, her ship was gone, erased from all records. Fear turned to suspicion. The empires began to ask, were the humans building something in secret? Some believed Earth had been preparing long before the enemy came, waiting for the perfect excuse to reveal themselves. Others thought humans were weaker than they appeared, using tricks to hide their fear. But the truth was simple. No one knew. And that ignorance was terrifying. One night, a secret council gathered. Leaders of 7 empires met in silence. They agreed humans must be forced to show their strength. But before they could act, another signal spread through the stars. It was not the enemy this time. It was the humans. Only 2 words, broadcast across the galaxy. We are ready. And then, silence again. No one understood. Ready for what? Ready to fight? Ready to surrender? Or ready to reveal something that could change the balance of power forever? The galaxy could only wait. The enemy was closing in. The empires were desperate. And in the shadows of Earth, humanity prepared for a moment that would shake the galaxy to its core. The gathering shadows grew deeper, and the galaxy held its breath. First, contact with the enemy. The galaxy had seen wars before. Empires had fought for power, for resources, for pride. But no war had ever been like this. The enemy was different. They did not negotiate. They did not slow down. They moved through systems like a plague, leaving silence where life once was. Every empire had already lost fleets. Every empire had already tasted fear. Yet still they believed victory was possible if they fought together. And so the galaxy prepared for a stand. The chosen battlefield, the Darien system, a bright sun surrounded by 6 worlds and endless rings of stone. It was here the enemy was expected to arrive. The fleets assembled. From the Zorth came warships like steel mountains, their scales glowing red with fury. The Avira spread their golden wings of light, elegant cruisers shining in formation. The Ko Harl filled the skies with countless spiked swarms, black ships buzzing like insects in the void. Dozens of other species added their strength, creating a force the galaxy had not seen in centuries. Thousands of ships, all gathered for one purpose, to stop the enemy. But in the silence between stars there was fear. The commanders tried to hide it. They gave speeches of courage, of unity, of destiny. But deep in their voices cracks showed. Everyone remembered Vega. Everyone remembered the slaughter. Would Darien be different or worse? Then the shadows came. The first sign was not a fleet, but the stars themselves. Points of light in the sky began to vanish one by one, as if something enormous was blocking them. A cold darkness spread across the system, then shapes emerged, vast, shifting, unnatural. The enemy had arrived. At first they looked like ships, but they were wrong, too smooth, too fluid. Their bodies bent in impossible ways, twisting and stretching as though made of living metal. Some were as small as fighters, others were as large as moons. Their weapons glowed with colors no one had seen before, colors that made eyes burn and minds ache. The galaxy fired first. Thousands of our cannons lit the void, filling the dark with fire. Missiles streaked across space. Beams of plasma cut like swords of light. For a moment it was beautiful, a storm of fire against the endless black. The fleets roared with hope. Perhaps this time they could win, but the enemy adapted. Their bodies shifted, weapons bent harmlessly around them. Shields folded space itself, turning attacks back on the attackers. Entire squadrons vanished in bursts of impossible light. A single enemy ship, the size of a city, split into 100 smaller vessels, each striking with deadly precision. Panic spread. The Zorth shouted orders, their mighty cannons growing weaker under the storm. The Avira formations broke as golden cruisers burned. The Harl swarms scattered, their endless numbers cut apart like dust in the wind. What was supposed to be unity became chaos. In less than an hour, half the fleet was gone. Command ships' leaders screamed for retreat. Some tried to escape through jump drives only to vanish into black holes of shadow. Others fought to the last, exploding in defiance, their flames swallowed by the void. The enemy showed no mercy. They pressed forward, endless, unstoppable, and, through it all, Earth was silent. Every commander, every soldier wondered the same question. Where were the humans? Had they abandoned the galaxy? Had they lied when they said, "We are ready"? No one knew. But as the enemy drew closer to the heart of the fleet, a strange tension grew. It was as if someone, somewhere, was waiting for the right moment. The enemy reached the central line. The battle was nearly lost. Then, something changed. At first it was only a flicker, a shadow among shadows. A single ship appeared at the edge of the battlefield. Small, unimpressive, a simple human design. Alien commanders laughed bitterly. This is their answer. One ship? Too late. Too weak. But then the human ship moved. It did not fight like the others. It did not fire wildly. It slid through space with silent precision, its weapons hidden, its movements calm. An enemy cruiser large enough to swallow a city turned to crush it. The human ship fired once and the cruiser was gone. Not damaged, not broken. Gone. Erased. As if it had never existed. The battlefield froze. Another enemy ship attacked. Again, the human ship fired. Again, the enemy vanished. The galaxy watched, in shock. This was no ordinary weapon, no plasma, no missile, something else, something terrifying. The humans had revealed only a glimpse of their strength, and already the impossible was happening. But just as quickly as it appeared, the ship vanished again, slipping into the shadows, leaving only silence. The battle ended in ruin. The fleets were broken. The enemy still advanced. But for the first time there was something new in the galaxy. Hope, mixed with fear. Because now everyone knew. Humanity had power far beyond what anyone had imagined. The question was not if humans would fight. The question was, when will they unleash their true force? And in the silence after Darien, as wreckage floated among the stars, every alien leader trembled. Because they realized something even more dangerous than the enemy was waiting in the shadows. Humanity. The mask falls. The galaxy no longer laughed at humans. After Darien, everything changed. The enemy had crushed fleets, shattered empires, and silenced entire worlds. But in the middle of that destruction, one small human ship had done the impossible. With a single strike, it had erased an enemy cruiser larger than a city. Then it disappeared, leaving only questions and fear. Was it luck? Was it a secret weapon? Or was it just the beginning of something far greater? The galaxy did not know, but they all felt the same chill. The mask of humanity was beginning to slip. The silent preparations for centuries, humans had been underestimated. The great empires called them weak, fragile, and unimportant. Their fleets were small, their colonies few. Their technology seemed ordinary. To the galaxy, they were children playing with fire in the darkness of space. But now, whispers spread. Reports leaked of strange movements near human space. A Harl scout claimed he saw entire moons being hollowed out near Saturn. An Avira spy described ghost fleets training in the shadows of Neptune's storms. A merchant ship swore it passed through an empty system, only to discover it was filled with human defense stations cloaked in silence. No proof was ever found. Every time evidence appeared, it vanished. The humans denied nothing. The humans confirmed nothing. They simply smiled and said little, and that silence was terrifying. The enemy advances, the enemy pressed forward, their shadow fleet spreading through the spiral arms of the galaxy. World after world fell. Refugees flooded the skies, empires screamed for help. Yet even with their combined strength, the galaxy could not stop the advance. The enemy was unstoppable, until the humans returned. It began with the Battle of Alaris. Prime 3 alien fleets had gathered to defend the system, one of the richest colonies in the galaxy. But within minutes, the enemy burned them down. The skies turned black. Cities on the surface screamed for help. The defenders were moments from collapse when the humans arrived. The revelation at first, only a handful of human ships appeared. They were smaller than the great alien battleships, gray and simple with no banners or symbols. The defenders groaned. Is this it? This is all they send? But then, one by one, the human ships revealed their true form. Panels slid open, unfolding like steel wings. Engines roared with power never seen before. Hulls shimmered, changing shape, bending light itself. The small, simple ships were not simple at all. They had been hiding in plain sight, disguised, underestimated, waiting for the right moment. The mask had fallen. The first wave of human fire tore across the battlefield. Not plasma, not missiles. Something else. Streams of invisible energy that bent space itself. Enemy ships, creatures of shadow and impossible geometry, were sliced apart in perfect silence. Entire squadrons were erased in seconds. The galaxy had never seen such precision. Where other fleets fired wildly, the humans struck with surgical calm. Every shot counted, every strike destroyed. They moved like a blade through smoke. The enemy recoiled. For the first time, they hesitated. The galaxy watches, across the stars, the battle was broadcast. Billions of eyes watched as the truth was revealed. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was not unprepared. They had been building, hiding, training in silence. And now, when the galaxy was on the edge of collapse, they had shown their hand. Alien commanders whispered in fear. If this is their fleet in defense, what are they holding back? Because it was clear, the humans were still not fighting, with everything they had. The fleets that appeared were terrifying, but they were only fragments. Shadows of something larger, something hidden deeper, waiting. The turning point, the enemy tried to adapt. They split their vast forms into swarms of smaller hunters, moving to surround the humans. But the human ships moved faster, sharper, like wolves tearing through a herd. One by one, the shadows fell. For the first time since the enemy had arrived, a battle ended not in retreat, but in victory. Alaris Prime was saved. The people cheered, the galaxy trembled, but the humans did not celebrate. They simply gathered their ships, pulled back into silence, and left the battlefield. No speeches, no boasts, no promises, just silence, fear, and respect. The other empires were stunned. Their mighty fleets had failed again and again, yet the humans had succeeded with fewer ships and fewer losses. Pride turned to fear. If humans could do this against the enemy, what could they do against the galaxy itself? The Avira whispered that humanity might one day conquer them all. The Zorth raged that humans had lied for centuries. The Harl began to fear that the hives would be broken by human fire if they ever crossed them. And still, the humans said nothing. The Mina, warning that night across the galaxy. A single human transmission was sent. It was not long. It was not complex. Just 3 words. This is nothing. The galaxy froze. If what they had just seen was nothing, then what was humanity truly capable of? What else were they hiding behind the mask that had now begun to fall? The galaxy had seen human strength, but it had not yet seen human fury. And in the silence that followed, every empire realized the truth. The real war was only beginning. The trembling galaxy. The galaxy had witnessed something it would never forget. At Alaris Prime, the humans had shown their hand, or at least part of it. With calm precision and weapons no one could understand, they had crushed the enemy when entire empires had failed. They had saved a world, but in doing so they had also shattered the illusion the galaxy had long believed, that humans were weak, fragile, and small. Now, every empire was asking the same question. If this was only a glimpse of human strength, what was the full truth? Whispers in the dark across the council worlds, fear spread faster than fire. Alien leaders met in secret, their voices low, their wings folded, their claws tapping nervously against stone tables. Some spoke of gratitude. Humans had saved them, but others spoke of terror. If they can do this to the enemy, one Avira elder whispered, what can they do to us? The Zorth slammed their scaled fists. They hid this power for centuries. They lied to us all. The insectoid Harl hissed in unison. The hives will be broken if humans decide to strike. We must prepare. But prepare what? Their fleets were shattered. Their empires were weak. Even in unity they had failed against the enemy. And now they faced not only shadows from the edge of space, but the quiet, unknown power of Earth. The common people, ordinary citizens across the stars, reacted differently. On colony worlds, crowds cheered the humans. For the first time, hope returned. Refugees prayed that the humans would keep fighting, that they might be the saviors of all species. In the dark markets of the Outer Rim, songs were sung of the silent, soldiers of Earth, but fear ran deep as well. Parents whispered warnings to their children. Do not speak ill of humans. They hear everything. Traders hesitated to travel near human space, worried they might see things they were not meant to see, and never return. The galaxy's heart trembled. The enemy recoils. Meanwhile, the enemy slowed. For the first time, their endless march across, the stars faltered. The shadows lingered at the edges of conquered systems, no longer pushing forward as quickly as before. It was as if they were cautious. Some believed the enemy feared humanity. Others argued it was only strategy, a trap. But no matter the reason, the effect was the same. The galaxy had time to breathe, and in that silence, the humans continued their quiet work. The hidden fleet spies tried to uncover Earth's secrets. Zorth stealth ships crept near human colonies, only to vanish without a trace. Avira scouts disguised as traders sent reports of strange flashes near Neptune, but their transmissions always ended mid-sentence. The Harl tried to send drones into the asteroid belts, but the drones returned, empty, their memories wiped clean. Still, fragments of truth escaped. A smuggler swore she saw a fleet hidden inside the rings of Saturn, larger than any armada in history. Another claimed to have seen entire moons turned into moving fortresses. No one could confirm. No one could deny. Humanity remained silent, and the silence was worse than words. Allies or masters? The question spread like poison. Were the humans allies, or were they future masters? The Avira argued for caution. We must treat them with respect, they said, lest we wake something, even worse than the enemy. The Zorth argued for action. Strike now while their fleets are hidden, destroy their power before it grows. But fear stopped them. None dared move against Earth. Not after what they had seen. Even the Council itself began to fracture. Trust between empires dissolved. Suspicion poisoned every meeting. All the while, the humans remained calm, offering no answers, no threats, and no promises. A new battle, when the enemy finally struck again, it was against the Gorthan system. 3 alien fleets moved to defend it. This time the humans came openly. Not one ship, not 10, but hundreds. They appeared like ghosts out of the void, weapons ready, engines silent. The battle was brutal. The enemy swarmed in endless waves, twisting and shifting, trying to overwhelm by sheer numbers. But the humans fought with terrifying precision. Their ships moved in perfect unity, each one striking exactly where it was needed. Alien commanders could only watch in awe. The humans fought differently, no chaos, no wasted fire, no fear. Their silence was louder than 1,000 war cries. By the end, the system was saved. But the galaxy trembled not at the enemy's defeat, but at humanity's dominance. The silent fear. When the humans withdrew once more, they left behind not joy but unease. Allies whispered among themselves, "If this is their defense, what is their offense? They saved us today. But what happens when they decide they no longer need us?" The galaxy realized something dreadful. The enemy was terrifying but predictable. The humans, however, were a mystery with weapons that could bend space, fleets that moved unseen, and a silence that chilled every heart. The message. Then, as the galaxy debated, another human message spread across the stars. It was calm, simple, and terrifying. "This war is not over. Stay out of our way." The words were not shouted, they were not a threat, but to every empire they sounded like a warning. A warning that humanity was no longer asking, no longer pretending. The galaxy trembled, not just at the enemy, but at the humans who had finally revealed themselves, and in that silence, one truth became clear. The galaxy would never again see humanity as weak. After the storm, the galaxy was quiet. Too quiet. The enemy had been pushed back at Gorthan. For the first time since their arrival, a great victory had been won. Worlds celebrated, refugees cheered, hope returned like sunlight after endless night. But beneath that hope, another feeling spread faster. Fear. Not fear of the enemy, fear of humanity. Broken empires, the great powers of the galaxy were in ruins. The Zorth had lost more than half their war fleets. Their proud generals now spoke in whispers, their once mighty empire bleeding at the edges. The Avira, once glowing with pride, returned to their crystal palaces with shattered wings, mourning the loss of thousands of ships. The insectoid Harl had lost entire hives, their swarms scattered like dust. Every empire was weaker than before. Every empire trembled. Only humanity stood taller. They had not lost entire fleets. They had not crumbled in panic. They had fought with precision and they had won. The silent builders, after the battle, the humans did not boast. They did not march in parades. They did not demand repayment. Instead, they vanished. Their fleets retreated to their own space. Their transmissions stopped. Their diplomats said little. It was as if Earth had folded into itself again, returning to its silent work. But the galaxy was not blind. Hidden telescopes recorded glimpses of strange activity near human space. Giant shapes moved near Saturn's rings too large to be natural. The moon of Europa pulsed with energy brighter than ever before. Some swore entire planets were being reshaped. The humans were building something vast, something hidden. Whispers of control alien leaders began to argue. "They saved us," said some. "We owe them everything. Without them, we would all be ash." "They are dangerous," others hissed. "They hide their fleets. They hide their power. They say little, but their silence is louder than war drums." The council fractured. Old alliances broke apart. Empires whispered of betrayal. Some even considered striking at Earth before its power grew any greater. But fear stopped them, because everyone remembered Alaris Prime. Everyone remembered Gorthan. Everyone remembered the single human ship at Darien that had erased an enemy cruiser in a blink. No one dared to move against humanity. The ordinary voice. While rulers argued, ordinary people began to see humans differently. On refugee stations, children carried human flags. Survivors prayed to the warriors of Earth, as though they were gods. Songs spread across the stars, telling of silent fleets and hidden fire. To the common people, humans were saviors, but even among them unease grew, because saviors could also become conquerors, and the humans said nothing to ease that fear. The enemy hesitates. The enemy did not vanish, but they slowed. Their shadow fleets remained on the edge of conquered systems, watching, waiting, shifting like smoke in the dark. It was as if they too had learned something. For the first time, the enemy hesitated. Perhaps they feared humanity. Perhaps they studied them. No one knew. But the galaxy understood one thing. Humans had become a force even the enemy did not rush to face. That silence, that hesitation, was terrifying. A private meeting far away, on an isolated station, 7 leaders of different empires met in secret. They gathered in a dark chamber, shields raised to block human eyes and ears. "We must act," the Avira whispered, their wings trembling. "If we strike now, we die," the Zorth growled. "If we wait, we die slower," hissed the Harl. The room fell into silence. They were united in fear but divided in choice. No one dared to say it aloud, but all of them felt the same truth. Humanity was no longer just another species. Humanity had become something larger, a power beyond measure. Taktir, human message days later, as if to remind the galaxy who now watched over them, a human transmission spread across every channel. It was calm. It was simple. It carried no pride, no anger, only certainty. "We fight only when we must. Do not test us." The words burned across every empire. Some saw them as a promise of protection. Others saw them as a warning of domination. But all understood one thing. Humanity had spoken. And when humans spoke, the galaxy listened. The storm's shadow, after the storm of battle, the galaxy now lived in a different kind of silence. A silence filled not with hope, not with despair, but with trembling uncertainty. The enemy was still out there waiting. The humans were still building, preparing. And the galaxy, for the first time in thousands of years, no longer believed. It was in control of its own destiny, because the mask had fallen. The truth had been revealed. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was not unprepared. Humanity was something else. Something the galaxy could not yet understand. And as stars burned, quietly in the endless night, one thought spread across every world, every station, every empire. What will the humans do next? The silent warning. The galaxy no longer slept. Even in the deep hours when stars were quiet and worlds turned slowly in darkness, fear kept every empire awake. The enemy still lurked at the edge of known space, their shadow fleets waiting, shifting, like restless storms. But it was not only the enemy that haunted dreams now, it was humanity. The humans had saved worlds. They had stopped the enemy when no one else could. But in doing so, they had shown too much. The mask had fallen. The galaxy had seen their power, and it could never be forgotten. Fear among allies on the council worlds. Meetings grew tense. Once, leaders had shouted with pride. Now, they spoke in whispers. "They say the humans are building something in secret," one Avira elder muttered, wings folded tight. "They are always building in secret," the Zorth growled, "and we never see what it is until it destroys." The Harl hissed, their many eyes blinking in unison. "If the humans turn on us, no hive will survive. They fight like silence made into fire." The chamber grew quiet. For the first time in history, the greatest empires admitted a truth they never wanted to say. They feared their own allies more than their enemies. The ordinary galaxy, but not everyone shared that fear. On refugee stations, humans were called heroes. Children drew pictures of human ships as shining guardians. Songs praised the silent defenders of Earth. Survivors of destroyed colonies wept with gratitude, swearing loyalty to humanity forever. To the weak, humans were hope. To the strong, humans were a shadow of dread. And all the while, humanity remained silent. The enemy moves again. Then came a new strike. The enemy returned, not with a small fleet, but with a wave larger than anything before. Their target, the Arxis cluster, home to billions. Alien empires panicked. Fleets scrambled, half prepared, half broken from earlier battles. Everyone looked to Earth. Would the humans come? Would they fight again? Or would they finally reveal the full scale of their hidden force? The galaxy held its breath. And then, the humans arrived. The last display. They came not in dozens, not in hundreds, but in thousands. Ships filled the skies, emerging from shadows, from hidden jump points, from cloaked stations long unknown. Entire fleets moved as one, silent and precise, their hulls black against the stars. Alien commanders gasped. This was no defense fleet. This was no trickle of hidden ships. This was power greater than any empire had ever possessed. Humanity had revealed its armies at last. The enemy swarmed forward, endless as night, but the humans moved like a storm, of their own. Weapons bent space, erasing shadows in flashes of silence. Giant enemy vessels cracked apart as if cut by invisible blades. Smaller hunters tried to flank, but the humans were faster, sharper, always one step ahead. For the first time since the war began, the enemy faltered. For the first time, the galaxy believed victory was possible, but victory brought no peace. The uneasy silence when the battle ended, the Arxis cluster was saved. Billions lived because of humanity. Refugees cheered, stations wept, and hope returned once again. But the other empires did not cheer. They watched the human fleets withdraw, thousands of ships vanishing into darkness. They counted the numbers, the formations, the weapons, and realized something terrible. What the humans had shown was still not everything. The fleets that appeared were vast, but they were too precise, too prepared, too calm. This was not desperation. This was only a warning, the final message, and then came the broadcast. It spread across every system, every world, every channel. A single human voice, calm and steady, speaking words that would echo for generations. We fight only when we must. We protect only when there is no other choice. Do not force us to show more. The words were simple. They carried no anger, no threat, no boast. But to every empire they were heavier than any weapon. The galaxy understood. Humanity had not revealed its full power. Humanity had only revealed enough. Enough to save. Enough to terrify. Enough to warn. The trembling future. In the years to come, songs would be sung of that warning. Children would ask what it meant. Historians would argue whether it was a promise of peace or a threat of domination. But those who had seen the battles, those who had watched human fleets move like shadows through fire, knew the truth. The galaxy had been given a choice: respect humanity, or face consequences no empire could survive. And so silence spread. Not the silence of peace, but the silence of trembling respect. The silence of fear. The silence of knowing that a single species, once mocked as weak, now stood as the quiet giant of the stars, the final image far from the crowded worlds. In the deep black beyond Saturn, hidden stations pulsed with light. Fleets larger than anyone had seen drifted in formation, waiting. Engines slept, weapons rested. But the silence was heavy with power. Humanity was not finished. Humanity was only watching. And the galaxy, from the mightiest empire to the smallest colony, remembered the warning: do not test us. For when humans revealed their true force, the galaxy itself trembled, and it would tremble forever.